in Orlando West. I told you a moment or two ago that sporting icons have also been paying tribute, and most notably members of the squad of Orlando Pirates and of Kaizer Chiefs. eNCA's Dudu Ramela is at the home in Soweto. Mourners there have been flocking there as well since the news of her death broke. Right now, she is with well-known and globally recognized film producer Anant Singh. You will know Anant Singh as the producer of the Mandela biopic Long Walk to Freedom. Dudu, good afternoon to you again.
Indeed, good afternoon, Jeremy. We saw a short while ago members of Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs leading in song going inside Umamawini Madikizela Mandela's home, singing Ukholo lwami ndonyuka nalo ndilubambe ngesandla ndiyongena nalo ekhaya ezulwini. Loosely translated, I will keep my faith with it and I will take it with me to heaven. As you mentioned, we've got here with us Mr. Anant Singh, and he needs no introduction. Mr. Singh, thank you very much for joining us. Perhaps first, let's start with this. You just saw the family a short while ago. If you could just tell us how they're holding up.
You know, it's a very somber mood, and you know, I think that as much as it's over a week now, it's still very hard for everybody to grasp the magnitude of her loss. And I think the whole nation is sad. I was at the Constitutional Hill event this morning celebrating her life, and it was so moving, and such amazing speeches from people like Grasa Michelle to young kids that were 8 or 10 years old. And you know, that outpouring of love is what she would have loved to have seen, because that was who she was, a people's person. And you know, you hear people say, well, she was a giant among women. She was a giant among women and men, you know. And I'm very sad because I was here a few months ago and I brought her an iPad and I put in about 10 or 15 hours of material of her, from video to stills, and we had such a good time. I was here with my son. She was making jokes, telling stories, remembering the detail, which was so remarkable. And that, you know, talking about Soweto, this guy who was the arch rival, you know, bad guy who tortured her in those 491 days. And she was able to, you know, let it go. And she said that the more they pushed her, the more she wanted to not allow them to prevail. And that is who she was, and was such a big loss to us.
If we could please just go back to that day when you were sitting with your son and Umamawini and going through that footage. What stood out for you about her? You talk about people celebrating her life and remembering her. What stood out for you?
You know, I met her first, I think, about 30 years ago. So Fatima Mir was a very close friend and mentor of mine, and a friend and mentor of hers. And the thing that I will always remember is she never changed. She was always the person that we loved, and she was always the same exuberant self. No matter how depressed she was there. We were at Ismail Mir, Fatima's husband's funeral, and he, you know, that day she was consoling all of us. And it, you know, those memories are so amazing. And having made the film of Long Walk, you know, and taking her journey and Madiba's journey together was hugely challenging and daunting, because I was worried and terrified that she may just hate it, you know. But it was all okay.
Right. You mentioned the footage and that she went through it, and all the memories that you share of her. Is there something coming up that we can expect from you on Umamawini's life?
Well, this morning at the Cons Court, we did a little 8-minute film, which got a great reaction, which celebrated her journey in a very quick, you know, we had very little time. But I think the message out of today's event there was very much that we need to perpetuate the legacy, not by just talking, but by action. She is no longer here. And many of the speakers, Deputy Chief Justice and Grasa Michelle, and all echoed that it needs to be action. And Grasa made a very good point that here we are, 5 years later from Madiba's passing. We made all the speeches and there was no action. And so that makes us all feel sad, and let's not let that happen again.
We continue her legacy. Mr. Singh, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you, Dudu.
And that was Mr. Anant Singh, Jeremy. He's got one final question for you, but we won't delve into that for now. It's back to you in studio.
Dudu Ramela, thank you very much indeed. In conversation with film producer Anant Singh outside Winnie Madikizela Mandela's home in Orlando in Soweto.